Screen opens on Google homepage. Narrator appears in a small box on the right-hand side of the screen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather, and I'm going to be walking you through how to prompt ChatGPT to create an infographic. So, to get started, I am going to go up to my search bar and I'm just going to type in chatgpt.com, and the home page opens up. So you will notice that along the left-hand side, there's a navigation bar here with some options. You'll also notice that there's a category called Recents. And within that category, it has previous chats that I've had with ChatGPT so that I can go back and reference those if I need to look at them again.
Previous chats appear in the list with titles such as Mayor's Multimedia Principles, Dark Keyboard Banner, etc.
Activate that feature, all you have to do is create an account, and you can create an account for free. Most of what we do is going to happen on the rest of the screen that takes up most of the page, and it's inside this chat bar. So this is how I talk back and forth with ChatGPT. And as we get started with talking about prompting, I do want to draw your attention to a resource that you have in the um, module for this time around, and it's the ChatGPT Infographic Tips.
Narrator switches to a different tab, opening up a Google Doc titled ChatGPT Infographic Tips. Subheadings and text appear on the document, such as Formula to write a prompt and Example prompt template.
So I actually created this in coordination with ChatGPT. I asked it to create a class style handout for me with tips on the best way to prompt it to create infographics, and it delivered. So I'm going to talk through some of these tips with an example prompt that I wrote, and we're going to see what it produces in ChatGPT. So I'm going to peek over here at my prompt.
Narrator switches tabs again to a new Google Doc titled ChatGPT Prompt for Images. 3 paragraphs of text appear with a bulleted list in the middle.
So to start out, you need to let ChatGPT know the purpose and the audience for your infographic and what you're doing. So I just started by saying I need to create an infographic that represents the diverse needs of learners in a Biology 101 class. This is to summarize the information and make it easier for students using the infographic to complete an assignment. So I laid out that it was an infographic for students to help them understand something more easily, and that it was going to be categorizing the diverse needs of learners. And this is very similar to the prompt that I used to create the infographic on the Biology 101 class that you see in this learning module. So, purpose and audience to start. Next, I gave ChatGPT the actual information that I wanted it to use to create the infographic. This is an important piece because if you give ChatGPT a vague prompt, like create an infographic on mitosis and meiosis, it's going to search all over the internet and pull all kinds of information, which may or may not be correct, to create the infographic. So it's much better to do your own research and to actually give ChatGPT the information you want it to use so that you can make sure it's correct. The other piece to this is that I put it in bullet point format, and that just helps make it easier for ChatGPT to make sense of the information because it's already kind of sorted and categorized for it. And you just have a better chance of your infographic having the right information in the right spots. So use your own research, tell it the exact information you want it to use, and then break it down into a bulleted list.
On-screen text. Here's the breakdown of the learners. This online class includes a diverse mix of students with a wide range of experiences and abilities. About 20 students are learning English as an additional language. About 20 students receive verified accommodations through the Student Services Office, e.g., dyslexia, ADHD, visual or motor impairment. Roughly half of the students work full time and manage family or other commitments that affect sleep, stress, and schedules. One student has a chronic illness, making online courses their only option. There are 115 total learners in the class.
And then last, I told ChatGPT the accessibility considerations I wanted, the kind of colors that I wanted, and the tone. So um, for me, I asked ChatGPT to create a bar graph. I knew that was the kind of infographic that I wanted. You may not know what kind you want. And if you don't, you can start by just giving ChatGPT the information that you need put into the infographic and then ask it what would be the best style of infographic to use for this kind of information. And you can kind of partner with it that way to decide what presentation might be best. But I knew I wanted a bar graph, so I put that into my prompt. And then I prompted it for accessibility by saying I wanted it to limit text. I wanted it to be accessible for screen readers and colorblind users. And I wanted it to be high contrast and in a colorblind friendly palette. So the high contrast is pretty key for any uh, learners that might be low vision looking at your infographic. This ensures that the colors are sharp and distinct and easy to see. And then I just asked for, again, that academic tone. I wanted this to be fitting for an academic setting. I didn't want it to look playful or silly. I wanted it to look like something for adult learners.
On screen text. Please create a bar graph that considers accessibility for screen readers, limit text, and colorblind users. Make the image high contrast and in a colorblind friendly palette. Keep an academic tone.
So I'm just going to take my pre-written prompt and I'm going to feed that into the chat bar and paste it in. And right away, ChatGPT goes to work starting to create the image. It kind of keeps you updated in this box of where it's at in the image creation process.
ChatGPT response populates in the chat. A shaded box appears with text updates in the upper left-hand corner. Creating image, sketching it out, making the first draft, setting the scene, polishing details, finishing up.
And the other thing you'll notice is that navigation pane on the left-hand side, that recents category, it added in my most recent prompt into my record of chats so that I can go back and reference it again. The other thing I want you to know is that for the free account for ChatGPT, you can give it up to 5 image prompts a day. Past that, it will time out and it will send you a message telling you that you have to wait 24 hours before you can create any more images. So, right away, I can see that it followed a lot of my prompts. It definitely is using high contrast colors. Um, it created that bar graph that I wanted. And let's say that I'm not quite happy with this. Maybe I decide I don't want those text labels and I just want to keep the icons as my labels for the different learners. So I could go down to the chat box and I could prompt it and say, please remove the text labels and keep the icons as labels, and type that in. And ChatGPT will go to work again, creating those edits. So prompting ChatGPT to make revisions to an image is kind of a hit and miss process. It's not perfect. Sometimes it will do exactly what you want. Sometimes it will do exactly what you want and change something else that you didn't ask it to change. So it can take a few tries to get things refined exactly as you want them to be. And honestly, the more you practice at it, the better you get at being more specific and letting it know what you need. So here we have the image again, but just like I asked for, all the text is gone and it kept the icons. So maybe this would be an image that I would want to insert next to a text passage that explains the infographic and tells more about it. So that's really it for today. I hope this example was helpful. Good luck creating your own infographics. See you next time.